Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. For the past few days, Papa was trying to give thrust as to what should be the background while chanting God's name. He has been trying his level best to clear us, so that we will be able to go exactly in line with what he did. Still we are unable, but we keep on trying. He said days for yesterday that mantra should become the leader. That means by constant chanting. Constant may it not be possible for us, but when we chant, any time when we chant, as Pujya Swami said, whenever he chanted, he was doing it intensely. The effect of which remained with him. he said not the traditional way of chanting he was doing it. So similarly, we have to devise some method by which the chanting leaves an impressionable impact, indelible impression. So slowly that will form as a corner of our mind. So even if we are not chanting, chanting is watching us, chanting is protecting us, chanting is monitoring us. So whenever we go off the line, it immediately reminds us. So that is probably that we can call it as the leader, not as the mind. So he says, Lord, mantra becomes a leader. Accept your mantra as a leader. Let the mind follow the mantra. A state comes when mantra leads you to perfect silence. The mind has to follow it there. When mind is in perfect silence, there comes calmness, joy, happiness. So when you do anything in excess, you will die in the same situation. A writer who writes all the time will finally die while writing. A singer who sings all the time will finally die while singing. Swami Rama will die while in Samadhi. We all have to die. We all have to leave. So it is better to make sure that you will drop this body while remembering your mantra. So with the freedom he has given to us, we have to keep this prayer also intent. That while you make me to drop the body, make me conscious, so that I will at least chant. If you don't make me conscious, how will I chant? So I must be able to consciously leave the body, please. This also we have to add, especially those of us who are in the evenings of life. You must remember him. That is, according to Vinobaji, that is the provision we carry for our onward journey. Instead of worrying anything about it, suppose we somehow bring this Nama. So we try to chant as much as possible. We try to chant as much as possible intensely. We try to chant and ensure that a portion of the chanting is kept in our subconscious, so that whenever we are not chanting, the chanting should at the same time, just like any other skill, any other know-how, any other expertise, it stays with us, it becomes a part of us, it comes to us without even our knowledge. It helps, it guides. Automatically it comes, it becomes a sahaja avastha. So like that, this also should come. So you kindly guide us as to how, just like you enabled us to master many things, you must enable us to master this also. You lost your connection. Right. You have to keep on telling sorry for the interruption. So it's better to make sure that you will drop this body while remembering your mantra. So with the freedom he has given to us now, we should add this prayer also. when you make me to drop the body, make me to drop it consciously, so that I will remember your name. All other things are transitory. Intellectually, I am 100% convinced about it. Maybe my attachment and aversion still may be there, but intellectually, I am 100% convinced that it is all transitory, transitory, transitory. Only that reality is the eternal. Because right from our young age, we have been watching that so many changes have been going on. We have shifted our priorities. We have shifted our likes and dislikes. We have shifted our rights and wrongs. So many things have changed. But there is one entity in us who watches this change, who is aware of this change. All other things, so it is not merely intellectual, it is also experiential. But we forget. Maya is so powerful, we forget. So with the freedom you are given, now we will ask this also. Just like you made us to retain whatever know-how, whatever expertise, whatever skill you made us to master, it is kept there and it's guiding me, helping me, aiding me whenever it is needed. Even without my knowledge it comes. Similarly, Nama chanting also is going on. I am very much for it. Maybe my intensity may not be there much, but now that you have touched and kindled, kindly ensure that a part of the chanting is going on even when I am not chanting. In the sense, I am aware of your presence. It may not be visible, it may not be palpable, but it may be there. It should be there in a subtle form. It is very important. It is better to make sure that you will drop this body while remembering your mantra. But you cannot remember your mantra suddenly, just like that. You can do this only if you have practiced. If you are accustomed to it, you have made it a part of your life. A time comes in your life that is called a time of transition. Your beloved wife wants to communicate with you, but you cannot hear her because everything is fussy. You cannot move your tongue. You want to say something to her, you cannot. You want to express something to your dear child, you cannot. You want to say goodbye to your dear friends, to the country, to the nation, to the humanity, you cannot. You are in a period of transition. For ordinary people, it is a day of sadness, but for yogis, that separation is a day of wedding. They celebrate that day because the wedding is being performed by nature. When the Jain Munis, they take to the Diksha called Sallekana. You remember this? They celebrate. Not only that they drop the body, it will be announced. A big, very large group of devotees will be present. And step by step, he will be receding. Now the technology has advanced so much that the viewer or the programmer or whoever takes the video, he will announce 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go, 1 minute to go. There's a video there. Huh? Yes. When we were working with the Jain, he used to tell us, he has taken us to many Jains who have taken to this brother. Sallekana Vrata is, when they feel the body is no longer necessary, and the body, not out of frustration, not out of disease, out of a sense of fulfillment, and it should be okayed by their guru if they present or any senior one. And then they take this Vrata, they stop everything, all inputs. We had an occasion to see such a saint in Kolhapur, sometime in 70s. He was made to sit with some supports under a mosquito net. So we were permitted to go and do namaskar. We were looking at the face of the saint. Shining. The japa was going on. The telling of the beads like this, Then finally it will stop. Only thing that will be carried by japa, nothing else they carry. And when the japamala drops, they know, that is the end. Then the doctor will be called and finally check. Wow. So when you remember your mantra, you cannot remember your mantra suddenly just like that. You can do this only if you have practiced, if you are accustomed to it, if you have made it a part of your life. And of course, in our in the non-Jain, you can say Vinobaji. 7 days. Seventh day he dropped out. He was fully conscious and he was chanting. What is their mantra? Ram Hari. Ram Hari. On a plain cement raised, there is something on which you can sit, something like this. He was lying down there, that's all. And then chanting Ram Hari. We all have to die, we all have to leave. So it is better to make sure that you will drop this body while remembering your mantra. But you cannot remember your mantra suddenly, just like that. You can do this only if you have practiced, if you are accustomed to it, if you have made it a part of your life. A time comes in your life that is called a time of transition. Your beloved wife wants to communicate with you, but you cannot hear because everything is fussy. You cannot move your tongue. You want to say something to her, you cannot. You want to express something to a dear child, you cannot. You want to say goodbye to your friends, to the country, to the nation, to the humanity, you cannot. You are in a period of transition. For ordinary people, it is a day of sadness, but for yogis, that separation is a day of wedding. That's why they remember. They celebrate that day because the wedding is being performed by nature. Now we understand why there is so much of people assembled there. There will be, not a tinge of regret in anybody's. We have just like when we witness the Pratishta ceremony in a temple. The tradition, Indian tradition says that it is only by your merit, punya, that you are able to witness a Pratishta ceremony. That is why during Pratishtha of any temple you will find lot of people. After that they may not come. But the Pratishtha is supposed to be a very, very, very sacred moment. Because now we can say, because the nameless, formless, indwelling, all-pervading reality, for the sake of generations to come, in the people residing around it, the Lord has come in the form of an inanimate object. And through mantra he is consecrated. And from the granite stone or a marble stone, he becomes the symbol of divinity. That particular moment when the prana pratishtha is done, and when the tantri does it and comes out of the sanctum sanctorum and makes it open for all, that is the moment. No? Normally it will be preceded by intense nama chanting. It will be a thrilling moment. Thrilling moment. The pratishtha ceremony. Because your entire attention, entire concentration is on that Ishtadevata, and the nama is going on, and suddenly the door opens, the tantri comes out, you see the figure there. Depending upon the intensity you have, you will find a living presence. Many of you might know, might not know. When the Pratishtha of Lord Rama took place here, Pujya Swamiji was there. Tears were coming from his eyes. That particular moment. Because it's a thrilling moment. So that's why he says wedding, celebrated. In the courtyard of the unknown, what a beautiful language. In the courtyard of the unknown, the wedding is performed. And the wedding is celebrated because you have worked hard for it your whole life. It's death, This is the wedding. Think about the ways in which, these are all food for thought, drops that will help us, If we do manana, if we just hear, we know. If we do manana, at the time of my leaving the body, at the time of when God decides to leave me, free me from this body, please, let that wedding, let that celebration be alive in my mind. You start dreaming something. You start going through imageries, but you cannot explain anything. No one helps you. Then you start going to a darkness in deep sleep. Who is there to help you? You don't have a body. You don't have senses. Who is going to help you? So when there is no one to help you, then your mantra, which has been stored in your unconscious mind, comes forward to help you. Don't worry if the finger is not working. Here is the hand that will help. But that happens only if you have befriended your mantra. Kept company with your mantra throughout your life. Only then the reservoir becomes active, comes forward. Then your mantra becomes the leader. That is why it is called mantra setu, pranava setu, the bridge from this shore to the other shore. Therefore, wherever you go, whatever you do, constantly remember your mantra. The greatest day of your life dawns when you achieve conviction in the teaching that you have received by contemplating these teachings, by studying the books and sayings of the great sages, the great enlightened ones of the past in all centuries. If the Lord is everywhere, then He is in me. The first step of that great day of your life is taken when you start believing that the Lord is in you. That is only logical. Logic says that if the Lord, the power of powers, ultimate truth is everywhere, then where are you? It may be easier to accept that I may be in the Lord, because I am a small being and the Lord is everywhere. But where is the Lord? The Lord is in me also. That completes the logical reasoning. First step, the Lord is in me, I am in the Lord. Later on you realize, how is it possible for me to separate myself from the Lord? Not possible. Only one thing should exist, the Lord exists or I exist. You have to decide. But this does not depend upon your decision. The truth, the ultimate truth exists and is everywhere. Gandhiji put it in a different way. The Lord exists because I exist. The very fact that I exist is an authentication of his presence. Because if he is not there, I am not there. So that is how Lord Swami Rama concludes this beautiful booklet called The Great Liberator, Mantra the Great Liberator. Today's question will again read, we all have to die. We all have to leave. So it is better to make sure that you will drop this body while remembering your mantra. But you cannot remember your mantra suddenly. Just like that. You can do this only if you have practiced, if you are accustomed to it, if you have made it a part of your life. Swami Ramtirtha's words, Papa often quotes, I remember you, O Lord, because you remembered me first. What a revelation. We are only reproducing what he said. But it originated from him, from his own experience. I remember you, O Lord, because you remembered me first. If you have not remembered, how can I remember you? If you are not there, how will I remember you? A time comes in your life that is called transition. For ordinary people, it's a day of sadness. But for yogis, the separation is a day of wedding. They celebrate that day because the wedding is being performed by nature. Again, that Achara Prasarities, it comes back to us. For the sake of newcomers, we will repeat that. We have to keep on repeating that. A great Guruvayur Bhakta, Nepatu Narayana Bhattaripa, when he was a boy, somehow, the inclination was there in the Godward pursuance, so he accepted one teacher, Achara Prasarities. From him he learned Sanskrit, Shastras. Then by his perseverance, by his dedication, by his whole-souled bhakti, he was able to scale the heights as a Paramabhakta. And he was away from his Guru for a quite long time. But when the Guru was in his last stage, he composed a sloga again. Tomorrow I will read it again. And in that sloga, he says, when the form is blocking, when the breathing is disturbed, when the body is going to be dark, his Ishtadevata was Lord Shiva. So he was praying to the Ishtadevata. At this moment, you should come and utter the Taraka Mantra. This is the word, So, when just imagine this disciple who has also spiritually scaled the heights, He was somewhere, but somehow the inner prompting came for him to rush up to his teacher. And the disciple was stepping into the place, where the Visharadi was lying down and he was dictating these words. So you should utter this, you should utter in my ear, Tarakam, Duttarakam. When he finished this, you must utter this Tarakam. Immediately, at that particular time, God arranged that the disciple Narayan, the Bhattaripad was also there. He went and he said, Tarakam. Oh, he dropped the word. When they read this, we are reminded again. All the sadhana he did throughout his life had its fruition. How that powerful mantra can bring such, and instead of asking for any relief, bodily relief, he was only telling that you should come and connect me to this. The moment this Tarakam was given, Tarakam was uttered by the, it quietly dropped the water. That is why in Indian tradition, when somebody is seriously ill, critically ill, and doctor says it's a question of our chanting will be going on. So the wedding is performed and the wedding is celebrated because you have worked hard for it, your whole life. The conscious mind fails. It doesn't function because you are not in the waking state. You start dreaming something, you start going through imagery, but you cannot explain anything, no one helps you. Then you start going towards darkness in deep sleep. Who is there to help you? You don't have the body, you don't have senses. Who is going to help you? So when there is no one to help you, then your mantra, which has been stored in your unconscious mind, comes forward to help you. Don't worry. If this finger is not working, here is the hand that will help you. But that happens only if you have befriended your mantra. Very, very important. Befriended. Kept company with your mantra throughout your life. Only then that reservoir becomes active. And it comes forward. Then your mantra becomes the leader. That is why it is called Mantra Setu, Pranava Setu, bridge from this shore to the other shore. Therefore, wherever you go, whatever you do, constantly remember your mantra. The greatest day of your life dawns when you achieve conviction in the teaching that you have received by contemplating upon the teachings, by studying the books and sayings of the great sages, the great enlightened ones of the past in all cultures. If the Lord is everywhere, then He is in me. The first step of that great day of your life is taken when you start believing that the Lord is in you. That is only logical. Logic says that if the Lord, the power of powers, ultimately truth is everywhere, then where are you? It may be easier to accept that I may be the Lord, because I am a small being and the Lord is everywhere. And where is the Lord? The Lord is in me also. That completes the logical reasoning. First step, the Lord is in me and I am in the Lord. Later on you realize, how is it possible for me to separate myself from the Lord? Not possible. Only one thing should exist. The Lord exists or I exist. You have to decide now. But this does not depend on your decision. The truth, ultimate truth exists and is everywhere. So we started with these words. There is only one thing that will give you freedom from loneliness, and that is your constant friend within, called your mantra. But have you established friendship with your mantra? Do you have any other friend in the world who is dearer to you than the friend within you? If it is given second position, it won't work. When your mantra, the friend within you, becomes your best friend, then it functions. It will help you always, everywhere. When you are disappointed with external relationships, with the external world, with your ideas, thoughts, desires, then your mantra gives you solace from within. And it becomes your guide. So when you remember your mantra to such an extent that it becomes your best friend, then your mantra starts talking to you, guiding you. Nowadays we all spend some time with plants, trees. Suddenly we happen to go through Papa's words. When we care for plants with much love, they respond to that love. Nay, that they even talk to us. In the ashram we have some flower plants. During summer they do not get water because the wells get dried up. When Ramdas goes near them, they will tell him, we are thirsty, we have no water, we are drying up. Ramdas in reply tells them, what can we do without water? Ramdas is perfectly helpless. God must send us rain, then you will have plenty. And God sends rain. And plants become happy. It's a joy to see the plants growing, waving in the breeze, showing how happy they are. It is possible to commune with them, talk to them, respond to them. And also get them to respond to our feelings. They love our company. Ramdas has noticed that coconut trees yield better when human beings move about freely in the groves. If no human being goes there, there is very poor yield. They grow well when you attend to them, look after them with joy. They have as much life in them as we have in us. So when we see a plant, we not only at the sensual level, no? Nice to see through your eyes, an inexplicable pleasant feeling wells up. We cannot define it, but let us not stop with that. We will try to add. We are praying to God, you make me to see you there. In varieties you have come. When you go to Ayodhya, you will find that you must spend some time on each and every varieties, It is not just going there and coming back. Same Creator has come out, brought it out in so many forms. These are all things that will help us to store Him in the subconscious state. If we don't find Him, and if we only see the external beauty and come back, no. What Swami Rama wants, that will not happen. And the different types of flower, different types of fragrance, different types of leaves, different characteristics of the fruits. What all you have brought. And different types of butterflies come there and sit. So we should somehow develop a method by which we integrate this in our life. Nama chanting should be coupled with, supported by, complemented by such practices. So that slowly we will try to extend it throughout. Otherwise it becomes a part-time job, a part-time involvement which does not leave much. Immediately after that involvement is over, we are back to square one. So we have to pray intensely. Somehow please connect me to you. You are there, you have come in different forms, you have given me your faculties, different types of faculties through my sense organs, and you are coming before me through different forms, but still something in me, something in me blocks of not seeing you, only seeing your form, which I consider it as separate. So this honest dialogue, coming from the bottom of the heart.
How can we consume plants when there is life? Because while taking tulsi or neem patta, we feel like as if because life can be seen and we see. So how can we consume them? It is very difficult to consume. Neem patta and tulsi patta.
You have to work out. Then you will start realizing you have brought out various pulses. When you gave me the body which I did not ask, you brought the body, and for the sustenance of the body, you provided all the food articles. You know that the body is subject to diseases. You brought all herbs and medicinal plants. You know that I need oxygen. So you brought the flora and fauna of the plant kingdom. You gave me that. Like that we have to keep on thinking about it. You brought. And then you know that you are not eliminating it. The creativity is there, recycled and recycled. Just like we have also gone through so many forms. We were not, when we were born, what was our body? Now, after a series of years, what all changes it had taken place at every time. Similarly, so many changes are taking place by you, and the essential thing remains with the potential life force, the awareness, the creativity, the intelligence. It does not get damaged when anything happens. All those things will become clear when we shift from the object to this dimension. Otherwise it will be a relationship between an individual and an object. Initially it will be there, no doubt. But we keep on thinking about it. That is why Papa used to say in simple words, That your job is to, your task is, what is that word, I don't know. Yours is to go to the origin of your and the world life. Glimpses of divine vision. First, when you open, this is the guidance. Your job is to go to your source and the source of everything. So, manana is necessary, Otherwise, how will you know? Try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. When I eat the rice has come from a paddy. Paddy is a gift of Mother Nature. That paddy came because of my paddy cultivation. The paddy cultivation happened because I sowed first the seed, and then it sprouted, became a seedling, then it got transplanted. Then the fruition took place, and then that is the one which gave me. But I need a seed. That seed came from where? Same process. And that seed came from where? Same process. But there should be a seed, original seed. So there in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Bijamma Sarvabhutanam. I am the eternal seed of everything. So I put two and two and then start assimilating. Then start trying to see Him. Otherwise it becomes theoretical. I may be able to reproduce it. I will not be able to enjoy it. So the moment it comes before me, I should keep on thinking. Manana. Nothing at the surface level. You have to keep on hammering this. Try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. Anyhow, so Swami Rama, Papa talked to us through Swami Rama about the importance of mantra, about the relationship we should maintain with the mantra, and how we can befriend the mantra, and how we store it in our mind, how it should be made a part of our life, and then finally how it helps us when at the time of dropping the body. How it takes the wedding, please remember this word. Death is the wedding. Wedding performed by the nature. Nature had its own way of bringing together all the five elements and to give me this body. And then nature again comes and tries to, what do you say there? Decompose, and then it goes back to the five elements again. Going back. Recycling. So the wedding takes place by Mother Nature. Let us all hear now. Let us all hear now and try to think about it. And then slowly how to befriend the mantra, how to befriend the mantra, how to befriend the mantra. This should keep on coming to us. What else I should add to my present practice? Not merely during the chanting, but also during the non-chanting time. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
प्रणाम स्वामी जी।
प्रणाम
प्रणाम।
प्रणाम प्रणाम। नमस्कार, प्रणाम।
प्रणाम स्वामी।